Here we go. Welcome to That's Good Sports. That's Good Broncos podcast. That is my best announcer voice. Today's episode brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. And basketball's coming back, so you might want to get in on that b-ball, dribble, dibble, DraftKings action. Use code DNVR when you sign up. They've got a crazy offer. I think they're giving you like a 75-point spread. So as long as the team you bet on doesn't lose by 75 points, you're going to win. So you can check that out. Also, my personal coffee brand, benchwarmerbrew.com. Will finally got to taste the Benchwarmer brew, grinded up some beans with his parents. And what was the overall consensus review?
Gave it to my parents. My roommate and I have been drinking it the last few days. Everybody loves it.
Cool.
We've decided that we like that it's not bitter. It's strong. It's a very rich flavor, but it's not bitter. And I think everybody appreciates that. You don't even really have to put if you like milk or sugar in it, cool, but you don't even have to. That's the thing.
No, it's good. We found some good fucking beans, and I tried tons of different roasts. And I like bitter coffee. I like really dark coffee, but this medium roast was just the one that I liked the most. And it tasted similar to like a coffee bean I'd been having earlier. So that's why we landed on it. I'm glad we got the parental approval. And your roommate even gave us a slogan. What the fuck was it?
So the way he described it is he's a big coffee drinker, probably 8 to 10 to 15 cups a day. Really just addicted. It's killing him. But so he needs something really, really strong in the morning, or else he'll go through withdrawals. So he drinks his normal, really, really strong coffee, but to kind of just keep it going after that, bench warmer.
Nice.
So it lives up to the name. It's not the starter, but it can be his bench warmer.
Nice.
I think is what he said. And
That's
then
really funny.
yesterday I actually accidentally burnt my tongue on some of it because I was so eager. I poured it right out of the pot. It had been sitting on the pot for a while, and then I poured it into my mug and forgot that the coffee maker was still hot, and just couldn't wait and dumped it in my mouth and gave my tongue severe burns, and I spit it. I spat the coffee all over the counter, and then I didn't want to waste any, so I licked it all up, and then it burned my tongue a second time.
Ooh.
But
that's a good slogan.
Yeah.
The coffee is so good, when you spit it out because it's too hot, you'll lick it back up.
Yeah.
Like the dirty dog you are.
Fit that on a mug. So yeah, I can still feel it on my tongue. I can't really taste anything very well, but it's worth it. So it's all right, and I'm not going to sue you like McDonald's.
Yeah, shouldn't, because you
brewed
it.
Yeah,
you brewed the temperature.
Yeah, that's kind of my fault.
Yeah.
So buy Benchwarmer, follow Benchwarmer Brew on Twitter.
Oh yeah, it's just Will and I running the Twitter account. So
so if you like us, then you might like it.
I wish it was big enough where it was some corporate account that a social media manager was running, but it's just Will and I pointing out shit about backup players most of the time. We'll evolve. We're finding our rhythm. Did you do the RG3 tweet earlier today?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. See?
He posts some weird, cryptic, kind of corny stuff. He said, don't trust anyone who smells like hidden motives or something.
Yeah.
I was I don't know what hidden motives smell like. I know what Lamar Jackson smells like, but I don't know what hidden motives smell like. And I was could we have a hidden motives kind of brew? And I was no, let's do transparent motives. That's what we're
there
about.
We go.
So yeah, buy the fucking coffee and give it to everyone for Christmas, and then the game day too. So check out our weekly video on the game day.
Oh yeah, my other show, Odd Man Sports, airing on the game day. really this podcast is just about promoting other work that Will and I are involved in.
We're going to wrap it up in about a second here.
Yeah. It's just 7 minutes of us telling you what shit you should be purchasing of ours. We're going to talk about the Broncos today. I think I just wanted to point out, Benchwarmer, the reason you see the RG3 tweets there is we follow lots of backups. So we're going to make that, I think, our thing. Follow as many backups as you can. Trace McSorley came in for just a handful of snaps and then sprained his knee, and then Lamar Jackson took over for him. And I don't think we've really exploited that sort of bench warmer opportunity. But we award the bench warmer player of the week every week on our best and worst episode. This week we've got Denver at home against the red-hot Buffalo Bills. Probably my second overall favorite team in the NFL, I would say, the Bills.
I think that's fair.
I like when they're playing well. Josh Allen is good. It's nice that he's been good, and we said he was good early. And there's a lot of people who just want to still shit on him for some reason, but we'll get into that a little bit. Garett Bolles playing his butt off. Justin Simmons, Good Guy Award, third time winning. And let's start with Demarcus Walker here. Underrated defensive player lately for the Broncos. Kind of a guy that you've forgotten about. Was drafted back when Vance Joseph was the head coach. Second round, was supposed to be a big edge rusher, for the Broncos. Kind of got lost in the roster. Like, I don't know. He just never got on the field for whatever reason. And now he's been forced on the field because of injuries. He has 3.5 sacks in the last 4 games. He had a sack against Carolina. I saw him tweet that he's been tested for steroids 3 times in the last month. So when players complain about those random drug tests because it's like a guy you don't expect to play well is playing well, so he's getting tested randomly every week. But I thought, I was just trying to think of a guy on defense we should talk about, and he kind of felt like one of the players maybe worth acknowledging because I thought he's played decent recently.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's just like he's got his role, I think, at this point. No one expects him to start regularly and pick up 15 sacks a year or anything at this point, but he kind of comes in and does what he does and has a few good plays every so often. And I was looking at the 2017 draft class, and with Demarcus Walker playing, pretty well, it's looking better. We thought it was just an abject disaster, but if you look at it, it's Garett Bolles in the first round, which has, that's the perception of that pick is totally 180'd this season and into a pretty good pick.
And it took one season that flipped the Garett Bolles narrative. And you don't see that very often. You know what I mean?
Right.
Tackles, that position, feels like they get better. By year 3, they're pretty good because they got a little bit better from their rookie to their sophomore season. But Bolles was bad, and then it felt like he got worse. And then all of a sudden, he's performing as one of the best left tackles in the league.
Yeah. And you make the investment to bring in Mike Munchak, and it turns out it pays off.
I think
it didn't
that's really paying dividends.
Overnight. Didn't happen overnight or anything, but you saw the impact, I think, last week against the Panthers is that offensive line, which had 3 new starters.
Yeah.
I think 2 guys that had never even started before played pretty well, to be honest. I know they missed the one blitz from Jeremy Chin, but by and large, I was really, really pleased with how they did. And, they got creative too, but you got to put that on Mike Munchak a little bit. So you got Bolles and Demarcus Walker, maybe not worth a second-round pick, but salvaging some of that. And he was playing out of position, I think, his first 2 years, and that fucked him up a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear those fucking loud planes flying over my house, vibrating everything, but Demarcus Walker's in his, let's see, is this his 4th season? So his rookie contract will probably be up, right? So that's a guy that's starting to play well at the right time, where maybe it's worth the Broncos bringing him back now to keep like decent depth at that position. So that's good for him. Maybe he gets, a nice little deal out of the Broncos, but I'm sure there'll be other teams interested in him if he keeps playing well down the stretch. Mike Munchak, I think, is a good point, because right now, if you look at the Steelers, and the reason all of a sudden they've lost 2 games late, one to, Washington. They shouldn't have lost that game. I know Washington's playing better. Their defense playing really well, but Steelers can't lose that game. Losing to the Bills, that makes sense. I think the Bills are a better team than the Steelers, but the Steelers can't run the ball. And I think when you lose a coach as good as Mike Munchak, and they've had, was it Ramon Foster who retired for them? I think Pittsburgh's so. Line. But we're starting to see the impact of Munchak in the running game. And we've talked about like the adjustment that the Broncos made on the line, where they're pulling guards and getting, blocks a little bit downfield that way, that have sprung some of the bigger runs from like Melvin Gordon. So yeah, I think his impact starting to, be noticeable. Garett Bolles' development in part is probably because of Mike Munchak. And so knowing like the patience is paying off there with the offensive line, it's why you want to hopefully have that same kind of patience with Drew Lock. And we're seeing, at least we saw last week against Carolina with the bad defense, Drew Lock was able to play really well. Buffalo, I think, is a little bit different story coming up this weekend. But overall, I think it's just been kind of like this whole season has been about testing our patience. And
it really has.
What I'm a little bit thankful for is the Broncos got so hurt so early that I just was like, nothing good's going to happen. And then if they were a playoff team right now and you lose 3 corners to torn ACLs over the last 2 weeks, while your other corner gets suspended for the rest of the season and your best corner is hurt, I was like thinking, if the Broncos were in the playoff race and that shit happened in their secondary, I would be furious right now about bad luck. And I don't care. Like, it sucks that all those guys got hurt. And it's not that I don't care that they got injured, but my expectations of like the team and the defense, I'm just like, whatever. We've already written it off. I don't think they're going to beat Buffalo because they are out so many. Like, they're not going to have Bryce Callahan back. Bassey's out. Tolliver, who we didn't know who he was, tore his ACL. Duke Dawson tears his ACL.
The hell?
Now, OJ Mudia is your most experienced starter back there this week. So it's like, I'm thankful that because that would be devastating for me as a fan, being like, oh shit, we got to play Josh Allen, who's hot right now. Stefon Diggs, even hotter maybe right now. Cole Beasley, probably the most underrated, slot receiver in the league. Like, they're probably going to get torched, and it's just because of unfortunate luck, because 5 corners are down.
I mean, thank God for they haven't lost, knocking on wood right now, they haven't lost any safeties, really.
Yeah.
So you still have Simmons and Kareem Jackson there, so that's a really, really good experience. Plus you add Will Parks, and I think he can play a little bit of slot corner.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to go against the Bills, but they have a really, really good receiving core, I think. Not a ton really to write home about at tight end, but yeah, Cole Beasley's sneaky on pace for 1,000 yards. Stefon Diggs has 1 million catches. Gabriel Davis catches a touchdown just about every game.
Yeah. Will and I are working on the prediction episode, and I'm glad you brought up Gabe Davis, because the last couple games I've watched, I'm like, oh shit, they're getting this third receiver emerging. He's a rookie, right? Gabriel Davis? Yeah. Like, it's turning into a great he's probably going to be a great draft pick for the Bills because he's playing really well. He's catching touchdowns, and it just makes that offense harder to defend. And I even think Dawson Knox is just a little bit maybe underutilized.
I agree.
I just think he's a solid tight end, not like a great one, but maybe like a Heath Miller type.
It's exactly what I was going to say for some reason.
Perfect.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Probably
not like huge numbers, but like super tough guy.
Yeah, and I think as he develops maybe more chemistry with Josh Allen, he turns into that guy that you target on third down. Third and short, I swear to God, it was like every time it was Heath Miller just getting that for Ben Roethlisberger, and maybe that's like what Dawson Knox turns into. Like you got Cole Beasley, so if you have two options like that on third down that are your security blanket, then your offense becomes even more difficult to defend.
Yeah, I mean, it's no wonder. I mean, a little bit why Josh Allen has improved so much, and the most important part is like he's put in the time and worked on the mechanics, and they went into that on Sunday Night Football a ton. But that's one reason he's gotten more accurate. And they just invested in that receiving core over the period of 2 years, whereas when he was a rookie, he was throwing to nobody. Then last year you had Cole Beasley and John Brown, and this year you had Stefon Diggs and Gabe Davis. And, yeah, of course he's putting up big numbers.
Oh, yeah, I fucking forgot about John Brown.
Yeah, he's iffy for the game this week, but it would really help the Broncos if he did not play, if he took another week off.
Yeah, he's been on injured reserve, so he's been out for a month-ish, however long that is.
This game's on Saturday, too, so it speeds up that whole process.
Yeah. So John Brown being out is really why Gabriel Davis has been able to emerge as that third sort of threat. If John Brown gets healthy for the Bills by the playoffs, that's a nice little boost for Buffalo. Did you see
top four? As good a top four wide receiver list is. I don't know. Put it up behind the Chiefs, ahead of like the Steelers maybe.
Yeah. Did you see that Dominique Foxworth talking about Bills fans and Josh Allen?
No. What did he say?
Somebody tweeted it to me, and he was like going off. He was saying like he likes when Josh Allen plays bad because he basically doesn't like Bills fans. And he was basically alluding to them being probably racist and rednecky, which I think is true for – you can find that in any fan base. Like every fan base can have a group of those people. It seems –
Except no one listening to this podcast, though.
Right. No, everybody here very not racist. But it seems like overall, like when I think of Buffalo Bills fans, that's not what really comes to mind for me. Like they just it seems more of a very sort of like
Patriots.
Yeah, you talk about racist fans, and you think of like the Patriots, probably Chiefs fans more like.
Everybody but the Chiefs fans that listen to this show.
Yeah, exactly. Again, everyone here. But like and that's like a really broad stroke to paint, fans with. So it seems sort of silly. It seemed like a weird thing to bring up about people who like Josh Allen. Maybe those diehard Wyoming people, I don't know what the fuck he was talking about. It was just bizarre to me. Because when I think of like Bills Mafia, you just think of crazy people who like to get drunk and jump through tables and entertain us. It's like it feels like the fan base people most gravitate to that they like. So
right, they love football. They're super into it and go crazy, and they seem like good people, and they have all that heartbreak. So you're rooting for them. They have the 4 Super Bowls in a row. They haven't, they went like 50 years without making it to the playoffs. They really haven't had a good quarterback since Jim Kelly. Maybe a little bit of Doug Flutie here and there. Little Drew Bledsoe maybe, but
yeah.
he's the best quarterback since Jim Kelly, easily. So, let them enjoy. Let them enjoy their great season and great quarterback play for once. And they deserve it.
Yeah, it's such a weird take. But
Yeah.
maybe we do our next video is the top 10 most racist fan bases.
That's bound to go over well.
That way we really piss off the most people possible.
Yeah. I'm going to say the most racist fan base out there, those LA Chargers fans. I don't know. Just like pick the team that seems like totally normal.
Oh yeah, if you're a Chargers fan, or you just want to stay abreast of Chargers news, check out Bolts Blitz on Twitter. We're gonna have the guy John Na, who runs that Twitter account, really good friend of mine. We're gonna have him on, I think, Chargers Week. But make sure you follow his Twitter account. He just started. He's tweeting all just Bolt stuff, and I came up with the name Bolt Splits. He was running by a bunch of names for me in our texts. But John is like the reason I got into YouTube. Like, he got me my first job at Maker Studios editing YouTube videos, and he's like a genuinely passionate Chargers fan, and you don't find a lot of those. So we'll have him on Chargers Week because he's got a lot of complaints about the Chargers, and he was like the one guy I could talk football with when I lived in LA. That actually, like, when you're around a bunch of creative people,
not a lot of football fans.
Nope.
Really in LA.
Not a lot of football fans in LA, and you're working around a bunch of creative, like, art-driven sort of people. Nobody gives a shit about football. So he was like the one dude, like, we could talk about football for 20 minutes when they were smoking cigarettes and whatever. I did not partake.
Good for you.
Yeah. Cigarettes weren't my thing. Anyway.
Coffee meals.
Garett Bolles, 481 snaps without giving up a sack. Most by any tackle this season. So you just got to show Bolsey the love. Like, he's fucking earned it. And also, like, the one thing Drew Lock has done really well since entering the league is not take sacks. Yeah. Which that's probably the most underrated part of his game. And if he can continue to not throw those interceptions, and what's funny is we saw this week where we saw Brett Rippon had been telling Drew Lock to take what the defense gives you, do the checkdowns. Then that got elaborated a little bit more that John Elway has told him the same thing. Shula, is it Mike Shula? Is that?
Yeah, Mike Shula.
Mike Shula's told it to him. Shermer's told it. I'm sure everybody's told it to him. It was just last week was the first time he'd done it. So either Drew Lock's really stubborn and doesn't like to listen to anyone's advice, or it just takes a while to adapt that into your game.
It takes a long time to sink in.
And he's playing a quarterback who used to do the exact same thing this week in Josh Allen. And I heard Chris Collinsworth say Josh Allen's yards per attempt are down to, I don't know, like 7 or 8. He's playing like an NFL QB now, where he's not just trying to take the deep shot every single time. And I was like, holy shit, like, that's what we've been saying, like, Drew Lock's biggest flaw is. And that's why Josh Allen is why I have hope that Lock can be good next year. We got to see him do it again, this week, next week, whatever. But it's I'm trying to, be positive about it.
No, I think there's a lot of reason to be positive, and we've been using kind of Josh Allen as a model for a few weeks now on how we want to see Drew Lock kind of turn things around or just get better in general. And if you watch Josh Allen play and you ignore the numbers, he actually still misses a fair number of open passes. I'm thinking of a couple passes that he missed against the Steelers, especially early in that game. And he'll still have like one or two throws a game where you're like, what the fuck was that? And you kind of get that with Drew Lock too. Like he's trying to throw that little bubble screen against the Panthers to the right side of the field, and he short armed it, and the ball like bounced like 2 feet in front of Jerry Jeudy. You're like, what the hell was going on there? But these guys are like fairly similar in that way, and it's okay though when he misses a deep pass here and there because it's not his bread and butter anymore. It's not like totally boom or bust going deep because he's figured out how to kind of take the easy yards and move the chains rather than just like bomb it up and down the field. So if you can get that with Drew Lock, and then he gets a little more comfortable, and then all of a sudden you see what happens is you pull the defense in, and then you get single coverage with one of the fastest receivers in the NFL, KJ Hamler, and bam, touchdown.
Yeah,
twice.
And one of those KJ Hamler touchdowns, Drew Lock gave him this like a signal that to go deep. So that's a good sign in that like Lock recognizing the opportunity was there and knowing he kind of called that shot is something you should be really excited about to, seeing Drew Lock do. And like, I mean, just the production from KJ Hamler, but also thinking back, it's like I'm a little bit excited about Troy Fumagalli as well. He's, to me, a better option than Nick Vanette in terms of I think he's a little more athletically gifted.
He's a little faster.
And it's not like he's – like my whole joke was about Fumagalli's blazing speed being an issue for the Panthers defense. But if a guy like that you can throw a short pass to and he can turn it into a 30-yard gain, like that's what good offenses do. There's like any guy can give you a big play because you've got the talent at the positions and you've got a line and a group of guys who are blocking not just at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage, but downfield a little bit. It's like when the Ravens offense is working really well, it's because their receivers are throwing great blocks late down the field. And it's, I think we kind of saw a lot of guys play well on offense Sunday. And it just, even when the Broncos won, it felt like maybe one or two guys were having a good game, but, not everybody was sort of clicking. So I think that's like another thing looking back that I feel somewhat confident about. I don't think they're going to do it against Buffalo this weekend, but
I think, it's actually interesting because when Noah Fant left that game with, undisclosed illness, whatever it was.
Yeah, 3 guys were sick.
Very bizarre. Probably, the pizza, most likely.
Yeah, that pizza, the dirty
but,
pizza.
It's not like Nick Vanette slides up to take Noah Fant's targets and his roles and his routes. They took Fumagalli and basically put him in Noah Fant's position, and Nick Vanette was still like the tight end number 2 blocker kind of guy. Yeah. And they both like took their game up. But Troy Fumagalli worked well in that role, and I was kind of wondering, like, damn, if only some of those passes had gone to Noah Fant on Sunday, he probably scores and has like 80 yards or something.
We'd probably be talking
did a nice job filling in.
Yeah, we'd be talking about a huge Noah Fant game. Also, Nick Vanette very open in the end zone on that. I think that was the first touchdown the Broncos scored. And you think back to earlier in the season, Drew Lock throwing a little high to Albert O, and also Albert O dropping a touchdown.
Or the first game where he missed Nick Vanette again on almost that same play against the Titans.
So it's like if all of those things dial in, this offense is close to where we thought it could be. And again, it's like we basically got to wait till next year, but trying to be excited about these final 3 games.
You can get a little preview over the next 3 games.
Yeah. Not that momentum will carry into the next season because I don't think that's real. But if the Broncos play well, obviously that's nice. What else is nice? feels like just yesterday, Will, that Los Angeles was lifting basketball's most coveted prize.
The Vince Lombardi Trophy.
Yep. Since then, we have introduced a new class of professional b-ball players through the draft and seen a few marquee names switch teams. Like
LeBron James. Giannis and Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, they definitely switched teams, and James Harden decided to stay where he was at. Luckily for us sports fans, DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is here to kick off the 2021 basketball season with a no-brainer for all customers, all new customers, and existing, actually. So all customers, if you haven't tried DraftKings Sportsbook yet, head to the App Store now because you don't want to miss this. Use code DNVR when you sign up. To celebrate the return of basketball, DraftKings Sportsbook is giving you a 75-point spread on the team of your choice on opening night. That's right. All you have to do is bet on any opening night game, and if your team doesn't lose by more than 75 points, you will double your money. I don't know when the last time a team lost by 75 points, but that seems like a pretty safe bet to me. Also
sounds like a 5-point videos kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
How many NBA teams have lost by 75 points or more? You're welcome, Adam. DraftKings, safe, reliable, secure, easy for you to deposit, withdraw your money at your convenience. So download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code DNVR when you sign up to get a 75-point spread on opening night for a shot to double your money. That's code DNVR to get a shot at doubling your money on opening night for a limited time, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. You got to be 21 or older. It's for Colorado only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Don't call Will. Call 1-800-522-4700 because Will don't give a shit. Will don't give a shit.
I will encourage you to keep gambling.
Yes.
Until you lose your house.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Did you hear did you listen to the Tom Cruise rant today?
I did. Like I read the transcript.
Oh yeah.
Or I saw the quotes, but I didn't hear him say it or yell it or whatever the hell happened.
That's how I'm opening the prediction episode.
Right. Yeah, I saw
channel
that.
My inner Tom Cruise.
Who are you gonna yell at me? Like there's no one else.
Yell off camera somewhere.
Yeah. It feels like it. I'm just gonna say this: when this happened to Christian Bale, however long ago that was, like 10 years.
The lighting snafu.
Right. That was definitely like that happened. That was real because it made Christian Bale look bad. So clearly that was, that was authentic. This one feels.
You think it's you think it's to generate interest for Mission Impossible 7?
I think it's a false flag.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's not like you get the names of the people who are goofing off and not wearing masks or whatever. So no one gets in trouble there. No one actually got fired. Tom Cruise gets to look like he cares and gives a shit and is, cares about people in the industry.
Wow.
Which maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. And yeah, people are like, whoa, they're making another Mission Impossible? I didn't know that.
Or that his rant was exactly 2 minutes and 20 seconds so it could fit on Twitter.
Oh.
Actually, I don't know if it was exactly that. That's all I heard of it. I listened to it. And
is that the limit?
What's that?
220? Is that the limit on Twitter?
Yeah. 2 minutes and 20 seconds. That's as long as a Twitter video can be. Unless you get unless you're a really big account or some shit. I think they can get longer ones. Mm-hmm. But it reminded, listening to him rant, he's bringing up, I guess, fair points about being cautious and safe. It reminded me, though, of, when my dad would get mad sometimes, and they just, keep yelling, even though they've already clearly made their point.
Yeah.
It's like,
you can't lower your voice at that point.
We get it. It's like I compared to my dad, ranting about politics or something. It's like, okay, Dad, we understand you've made your point with different words, 3 different ways. It doesn't happen often. I'm not saying my dad has rage issues because he's probably the only person who will actually listen to this podcast that I'm related to. But I was like, okay, Tom, Now it's over. You got it.
Keep going. Yeah. We got the audio. Don't worry. We're going to put it on Twitter. You're going to look great.
Everyone's going to say,
awesome.
Sure, you're a crazy Scientologist, but you take COVID seriously. So respect.
It's got the Napoleonic complex. Whatever. Yep. He's tired of
I can relate to that complex.
Wives and girlfriends looking taller than him in heels and all that shit. So
yes.
His feet are sore from having to wear those lifts all day.
Those Costanza Timberlands.
I'll say on the subject of dads, and my dad doesn't rant about politics, although he's very interested and stays up all night watching Rachel Maddow. But my dad has like just discovered like Twitter jokes and just basically humor on the internet, and found like he's getting into like office gifs, and it'll show me like office gifs and jokes and like Michael Scott doing like the I declare bankruptcy and like shit that I thought was unfunny 5 years ago. And I just have to like pretend to laugh and smile every time. But it's at some point I'm just going to take the phone and break it over my knee into two and hand it back to him.
Yeah, but that Michael Scott thing is still funny.
I'm not saying The Office isn't funny. The Office is funny.
No,
but
I hear what you're
culture
saying
around The Office and the Office gifs are so old.
Well, gifs and memes are like, if you're on the internet a lot, those things, they're fucking dead to me.
Yeah, impact font memes.
Yeah, because I see so much of it. It's like I see the same fucking thing 10 times, and it's really hard to find one that I don't know. It's hard to just see him as humor. Almost, it's almost just like a I don't know, like a fucking stoplight. You just know it's going to be there.
Right.
You're either going to go past it or you're going to stop and be like, oh, all right, that one's new to me. But
exactly.
Yeah, it's new to your dad, so he's living it up.
I'm going to let him enjoy it. I'm not going to ruin his fun. But just know that on Twitter, like if I click on your media tab and I see a bunch of, office gifs and like Parks and Rec and all that shit, I'm not going to follow you. I'm sorry.
Two great shows, but Will has been ruined by their memes.
1.5 great shows.
Ooh. What's the half?
I don't know. Parks and Rec.
Oh, okay.
I'll say the Parks are funny, but the Rec is not.
Ooh. Parks and Rec's really weird last final season. Did not knock it.
A weird last 3 seasons for The Office.
I like The Office up until season 9, and I think season 8's underrated. If you rewatch it, I feel like Robert California is pretty funny, and they did a good job with some of the characters. But anyway, that's a different podcast. The Broncos Bills play Saturday. That Saturday game snuck out of fucking nowhere.
Seriously.
I don't need Saturday games in December.
I don't mind it. I'm going to be honest. I don't mind it.
That's because you don't have to shoot and edit a video about it Saturday night, Will.
Have, like a wife to make happy and a baby to watch over. So my Saturdays are kind of
you're going to be hanging out with friends. You got a little football on the TV. You're drinking your fucking seltzer beers, and life's good.
LaCroix heavies. Yeah, no, I don't have to worry about it. So I say bring on all the Saturday football. I think the last time they played on Saturday, they played the Browns in 2018, and I went to that game, and that was shitty. And I'd rather just be home and watch it on TV.
That's the only Broncos game I've missed in like the last 10 years, because my wife's holiday Christmas party was on that Browns game, and we had to go to it. I think I still did a recap somehow, but I remember
it was a close game, but not necessarily a good game.
Was not a good one. I was like, I'm
terrible decision making by Vance Joseph at the end. kicking a field goal instead of going for it on like 4th and 2. Yeah. Lame.
You know what else is lame? Winning the
it.
Good Guy Award 3 times.
At what point, if you win the Good Guy Award 3 times, shouldn't it just be one Great Guy Award?
Ooh, Justin Simmons, officially great guy.
I'm calling it now. He's won the Great Guy Award.
Everybody knows you want to be a bad boy. Bad. It's the Garett Williams Good Guy Award. Simmons, 3 out of 4 years gets it. I wanted to bring it up because just another perplexing reason that they didn't get his contract done. I know it's a moot point by now. Like, they can't even do it until the season's over or restart those discussions. But did the Broncos give that award, right?
Yes.
So
that's a team award.
You don't give that award out, I think, if you don't intend on making it work with Justin Simmons. My point is, I think they're going to get a deal done. That's called reading between the lines. I'm usually not very good at it, but this time, pretty good.
Is there a no trade clause under the franchise tag?
I don't know. I
was going to say, because if they're like trying to get rid of him, then could just maybe they're like, would have put more effort into it at this point rather than like franchise tag him and then let him walk.
They're like,
here's the thing. They're clearly trying to. When people yell at them for like not like they don't value him, that's not the case. They clearly think he's very good and want to re-sign him. It's just that they don't have like money. They don't have cash.
They're fucking house poor now.
They got to sell some oil and then get a little more cash to put in escrow, and then
they've got
put it in a duffel bag and throw it at Justin Simmons' face.
They've got the Broncos have this problem where they're either trying to pay a trust that is 3 people. So there's 3 salaries, where a normal situation you might have 1. They're like a team president or some shit.
Right.
And then if it's not them, it goes to the 37 Bolin kids. And that's a lot of money to divvy up. So
that's true. There are 37 of them.
There's a lot. What is there? 6, 5, 7?
Too many, honestly.
That's why if you're super rich, don't have a lot of kids. Jesus.
No, because then they all fight over your money and your power.
Pat Bolin liked unprotected sex too much. As good as he was as an owner, he liked to do procreation too frequently.
Loved wearing the fur coat on the sideline, but not on his dick.
Not the Jimmy coat.
Clearly.
He liked the fur coat, not the Jimmy coat.
Nope.
All right, Bills, Broncos. Obviously, our prediction episode will be going up maybe Thursday night it'll probably be Friday morning because we're doing a Patreon Zoom call on Thursday evening. We'll have some whiskey, shoot the shit with some patrons. But Bills, Broncos, let's just touch on this a little bit before we get out of here. It's taken a while, but yeah, now I'm worried about the Bills' passing game. Wasn't something you'd been too worried about before. Defense, I feel like, has been a question mark all season long, but I think the Bills' defense might be starting to play better at the right time. And I think who's the corner who had the pick last week, the pick 6 for Buffalo?
That was Teron Johnson.
Teron Johnson. He's in the concussion protocol on a short week. I don't know what his status will be, but there's a chance he might not play. So maybe there's a little bit of an advantage there for the Broncos in the passing game. But again, this Bills defense is a lot better than Carolina's. So that's why I don't think the Broncos will win this game. Bills have more to lose if they do lose. So
they're at this point they're playing for could get the 2 seed in the AFC.
Not that 3.
The difference between the 2 and the 3 seed means what it used to, because you still got to play wild card round. It's just you're looking at either playing so if the Bills grab the 2 seed and the Steelers get the 3 seed, then
that's the difference between right now playing the Colts or the Dolphins. And if I'm the Bills, I would much rather play the Dolphins than the Colts.
Or the Dolphins. You're exactly right. Or the Browns. Yeah, you could get the Browns.
Browns are the 5th seed right now, but yeah, with another.
Okay. Right. So those are the teams that are going to get swapped. Maybe the Ravens and who knows, but definitely not the Raiders.
If the Ravens come in, though, as that 7th seed, that's not a 7th seed team.
Maybe you don't want the 2 seed at that point. I think I'd rather take my chances with the Browns.
Yeah, or even the Colts. I mean, I think the Colts are an all-around, Colts are a good team, but it's like the Ravens, to me, if they get hot, are like the Titans last year. It's like just at the right time, they're going to be dangerous in the playoffs.
Right.
But, I don't know if they can be consistent just because they haven't all season. Anyway, give me one reason you think the Broncos can win this game.
I think they run the ball well again, and they keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. And Drew Lock plays efficiently again and doesn't turn the ball over. I think that's how you do it. And I think the way they lose is they just don't have any depth at corner, and they get torched. Because you saw them kind of get torched at the end of the game there by Teddy Bridgewater. And you amplify that with Josh Allen and Stefon Diggs and those guys, and now you're kind of in trouble.
Yeah, I would not be pleased about trying to figure out a game plan this week for the defense as Fangio and Ed Donatel with corners that are your you say your 3rd or 4th best corner, and then guys who are 6th, 7th, 8th on your depth chart coming up. That's just not fun.
So who's playing? Because they signed a guy off of Tampa's practice squad, but he can't play until next week, so it's kind of a moot point right now. So it's who? It's OJ Mudia, and then Bosby, OJ, Nate Harrison is the other guy, I think. Yeah. Who are these people?
I mean, maybe
Dawson's out.
I feel all right about Bosby, I guess, but
yeah, it's not bad.
It's not bad. It's just not ideal. And maybe the defense does what it's done all season, kind of plays better than you expect. But I think the Bills win. Maybe
get creative too.
Handily.
Kareem Jackson, getting him some snaps at corner, and Will Parks. And
I wrote this thing about Kareem Jackson always tackling exactly the same way, where he just dives in like a torpedo at somebody's legs. And when I was watching the game, it was he started the game with the exact same tackle he started the second half with. And when I went and edited it together, I had to double check to make sure I didn't pull the exact same play.
Yeah.
It was a little swing dump off pass, and he just can't come in, hits the dude's leg. Even the running back rolled in the air the same way. I was wait, did I just think he did that? I was no, that's the same. Those are 2 different fucking plays. It just looks identical. But
if it works, it works. That's
to me, he's really good at that. And you see other guys try to do that shit all the time and just whiff.
Right.
So, however he's learned to tackle that way, it's cool because every time he does it, you're that's a fucking good tackle, Kareem.
Yeah, no, and he's small too, and just uses his body like a missile.
Favorite type of player.
You need one of those guys on every defense.
Yeah.
But you also want him to be passable in the in coverage.
Yep.
So not like Jonathan Abram.
No.
No.
All right. Well, you made it through the podcast. That's good, Broncos. Good night. And John Elway never had an ACL as a pro. Fuck.
Good luck.
Don't even. Oh.